Swear to God, I'ma never join the military. It don't matter how hard it gets, they'll never get me. And I'm smoking on that bush pack. They gon' put you in the desert just to leave you buried. Alright, boom, off the bat, let me just say, I am not anti-veteran. I am anti-military. So yeah, look, it's no secret. When you sign up, when you enlist, you're putting yourself on the line. We all know this. That's what it is to be a soldier. The problem is, when you do it for the American military, you're putting yourself on the line for nothing. As far as I'm concerned, if you sign up for the military, you're basically just signing yourself off to die. And anybody who hasn't died, who has come back, they're just lucky. They're just the lucky ones who escaped the inevitable. You know, you think back to Afghanistan, Bush, things like that. These motherfuckers, bro, they are perpetuating constant war. And I don't fuck with that. So, that's why I say, swear to God, I'ma never join the military. Yeah, the propaganda is subliminary. Turn our children into killers, man, it's very scary. If you fighting for the system, you should be embarrassed. Swear to God, I'ma never join the military. I remember being in high school during lunch period and just having recruiters come in and set up shop in the middle of the hallways. I was, freshman, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, 4 years of high school. That's, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And I'm seeing these dudes come in and, having our young boys, the future, young men of America doing pull-ups, push-ups, things like that. And a lot of times, to be honest, it's young boys of color. And I look back at that now, and I'm thinking how absurd that is. This military propaganda, it starts so early that you don't even realize that you're being, sold to. You don't even realize it. And then before you know it, you're 18 years old, getting, hazed at boot camp and then sent into war to die for some shit that George Bush wanted 20 years ago. That's just not something that I have ever liked. Yeah, if you recruiting, you should kill yourself. Trying to send our boys and girls into hell. And I'm sorry if the military saved you, because you had no other avenue to save yourself. So this is these first four bars are at the heart very much of a lot of what I'm trying to get with this song. The idea that we have places in America, and really anywhere, but in America, where people are so poor, people are so disenfranchised in the land of the free and the home of the brave, that the only way to escape poverty outside of, selling drugs, crime, is to sell your body and your soul to a system that chews up and spits out not only its own people, but the people of the world, is incredibly, it's dystopian. I mean, it's dystopian. And the idea that there are people in the military who know this, and they bank on this, and they go to these neighborhoods, and they basically sell that exact dream to these kids, to these young people. If you do that, you should kill yourself. I don't know what to say, because that's what you want our kids to sign up to do themselves. Yeah, disability and mental health. VA doesn't care, they don't want to help. They want to train you, then engrave you. If you lucky, send a check till you win the mail. If the first 4 bars are about the youth, these next lines are about the older generation. If it's a young person coming into the military under false pretenses, being sold a dream, what happens when they leave? What comes out of the military? What leaves the meat grinder? Poor, broken, forgotten veterans. I've heard so many horror stories about veterans who give their lives, serve their country, come back home, and end up under a bridge. So many. I'm sure you heard it too. We've all heard it. We all know the story. Forgotten veterans. People who were promised glory and money and a better life if they just put their lives on the line. Who, when they come home, they're discarded. And those who aren't, they're the lucky ones. All they get at most is some money as, reconciliation for the years of physical and mental trauma that they've had to endure. My girlfriend's dad, both her parents were in the military. Her dad is always talking about how he talks about how, yeah, I did get PTSD from it. And he says it so casually that it's like, you have to wonder, what are they doing to these people? To these poor people who join the military? If they can get you, then you know they will. That silver spoon never ran a drill. Listen close and listen well. You know that freedom ain't free. It's civilians that foot the bill. One of the inspirations for me when I wrote this song was a little tune called Fortunate Son. And to be quite honest, that song and this song, obviously you're saying a lot of the same things. But one of the biggest things, and I can't stress this enough, is the disenfranchised, the impoverished, those who have nothing to lose, because that's how the system wanted them to live and die. They are the ones, more often than not, who are going to be putting their lives on the line, who are going to be sacrificing what little they have for the chance, possibly, that they might have a better life. Do you think Baron Trump is ever going to see the inside of a barracks? No. Do you think Elon Musk's kid is ever going to be put in the front lines? No. It's going to be your son, your daughter, you. That's who's going to be fighting for this country. And when you come back, broken, battered, bruised, bloodied, they're going to discard you just like they did everybody else before you. Swear to God, I'ma never join the military. 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 When I first started writing this song, I had this idea, and it's really something that is a bit personal that I wasn't able to put into this song, but really was a driving force for a lot of it. Was in my own personal life. I've always been someone who's struggled with a lot of internal things, feeling like I don't know how to fucking live, how to do things correctly. I'd be a klutz, someone who is always like fucking up in the worst ways. I've had to deal with a lot of inner turmoil, and too many times and I'm sure many young men, young women, just people I thought to myself, you know what, maybe a couple years, if I just, some basic training, do a little stint in whatever country, and I come back disciplined, well-behaved, looking fit, all of these things, just a couple years, just a brief little stint in the military will be just what I need. I am not going to do that. And I don't think anybody should. The idea that the military can be this solve all, solution to your problems, it's quite frankly, it's a lie. It's propaganda. And again, those who did go through it and did come out okay, they're the lucky ones. They're the exception to the rule. What you need, yeah, we got it. Out of school and you gotta get through college. Sign here if you running out of options. Get that PTSD, pay to see you dying. I love that bar. PTSD, pay to see you dying. You gotta admit, that's pretty fire. But yeah, that's really, again, and this is just hammering home what I've been saying this whole time. It doesn't end in high school. My girlfriend and her sisters, a large part of their college, tuitions and whatnot were covered by the military. They were able to pay for college because their parents served in the military. And as much as I want to think that that's such a great thing, I can't help but think is this really what it takes to put your kids through college? To put yourself through college? To put yourself to have a chance? Is for somebody in your lineage to take the gamble that they might not come back home? Is this what it takes in America, in the land of milk and honey, land of the free, the home of the brave? Is this what it takes in America for someone to succeed in life? Is for another person to put their lives on the line? Maybe, but is that a good thing? Yeah. You ain't no fortunate son, yeah, the odds stacked against you, man, it's 4 against 1. Can't afford health care, but will afford you this gun. Yeah, that's 916 billion. The funny thing about that 916 billion bar was that number is out of date. The moment I wrote it, it was out of date. I really love that bar because the more out of date, that's by the way, how much the government was spending on the military at the time I wrote this song. What I love about that bar is it's such a great indicator of just how fucked the system is. Because the further we get away from a bar like that, and the higher that number rises, I don't know how much it is now, but I know for damn sure it's a lot more than 916 now. The further we get away from that number, you gotta think, what the hell are we spending this money on? What is going on? I really love that bar because it really shows just how deeply entrenched this propaganda, this system is. How much we rely on death, on killing, maiming, on sacrifice in a country that shouldn't. And so, the lines before, if you can't afford healthcare, that's okay. We can afford healthcare and this gun that we're going to put in your hands. Your life and your well-being, we can give it to you. The only price you have to pay is taking the life of someone else. So, fair trade. Yeah. And what the fuck do I get? Yeah, they'll teach you about respect, but they won't treat you with respect. Exhibit A, look at all the homeless vets. What's the chances of that? Man, it's 98%. Going back to what I was talking about before about, when I, growing up, thinking as a younger guy, dude, if I sign up for the military, they're going to instill discipline in me. They're going to make me like a hard worker, someone who can really, someone who can stick to his guns, things like that. Yeah, that's all the propaganda. How do they do that? They do that by shaving your head, by hazing you, by yelling in your face, by putting you through hell. And it's all under the guise that it's for your benefit. That's the ultimate point, is it's all a lie. It's all a lie. They will teach you to respect your superior officers, while your superior officer couldn't give two shits if you lived or died. They might claim to, but that's their job. Again, going back to the veterans thing, is 98% of military veterans are either, struggling or disenfranchised or dealing with some sort of issue in some way or another. That's 98%. That's almost all of them. You can't go into the military and come out the same person. And normally I would say for better or worse, but it's for worse 98 times out of 100. What you need, yeah, they got it. They gon' fuck you real good, but shh, keep it silent. They gon' throw away your soul, can't do anything about it. I served crack before I ever served this country, don't doubt it. I wanted to, there was a aspect of the military that I was getting to the end of the song that I wanted to touch on, but I just couldn't figure out how to. And so I did it in that one line toward the end. They're gonna fuck you real good, but keep it silent. And I don't mean they're gonna fuck you up. Which that will happen. They are going to fuck you. People in the military, sexual violence, not just physical violence, is rampant. Both for women, of course, and for men. It is a very dangerous place to be in the US military. It is a very dangerous job. And most of the times, it's not the people overseas that make it dangerous. It's the people laying next to you, the people who employ you, those who have power over you. When you sign yourself over to the military, you're signing your body and your soul in all the ways that entails. So yeah, that's why I will serve crack before I ever serve this country.